ago.
All right, for more, let's bring in Goldy Hyder, President and CEO of the Business Council of Canada. Goldy, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. Canada may have dodged a major escalation in this trade war, but of course, when we're talking about the auto industry, not unscathed either. What do you make of Canada and Mexico being left off of yesterday's announcement from the Trump administration?
Well, look, yes, we caught a bit of a break because they could have escalated these tariffs, but there are still people who are hurting. The steel sector, the aluminum sector, the auto sector, as you just played here, and we're also seeing the consequences of some of the tariffs being put on agriculture by China, all of which is wrapped up in this tariff war that we seem to have entered. And so, on the one hand, yes, we didn't get added more. I do think there's some opportunities here working with Mexico, and frankly, paying attention to the fact that the Americans have not ever said that they don't want a USMCA. On the contrary, USTR, their trade representative, just put out a report on April 1st indicating that, if we were to sit down and review and renew the USMCA, we're going to raise some issues with you. You're going to have some issues. Mexico is going to have some issues. We need to get this off the TV sets and into the rooms where negotiators can sit down and really start thinking about how to review and renew an agreement that, frankly, is working and is an agreement that the president called the greatest deal of all time. We can make it even greater by not going down this current battle of having the tariffs, which are ultimately going to have downside effects on not only their economy, but our economy and, frankly, the global economy, if we're not careful.
Yeah, so adding to your point, of course, with Canada and Mexico being left off yesterday's so-called reciprocal tariff list, that really brings the CUSMA deal, the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement that, as you mentioned, Trump signed in his first term. It really brings it into spotlight. So how important is it to quickly have that review expedited?
Well, look, the tariffs themselves effectively null and void to some extent. They certainly violate the spirit and the intentions of that agreement. And I can understand why some people are saying, why would we do another deal with someone who's broken their word on this agreement? Look, the alternative is not very good. Having no agreement would create basically capital chill in Canada. People come to Canada, capital comes to Canada to access our resources in many ways and to export them, and more often than not, export them to the G1 because it's right next to us. So we do need an agreement. I think we have to have an agreement that works for Canada. No one is suggesting that we harm our own economy. But that happens at a table. That happens when negotiators sit down and find a way forward, addressing some of the issues, whether it's, the softwood lumber or dairy or, some of the digital services taxes, things that both sides can agree to disagree on, but let's find a way forward as opposed to creating effectively chaos by having no trade agreement. So I'm optimistic that Canada and Mexico can bring the United States to that place. I hope it's sooner rather than later because it will calm down some of the jitters that we're facing here in North America.
Goldy Hyder is the President and CEO of the Business Council of Canada. Goldy, thanks so much for your time and insight today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Scott.